Had Hashem not made the physical nest and the Yidden had not won the war, what would have happened? Would we still be here today, as from Yidden? No. It had to happen. Okay? Had we not won the physical war, had the Yevonim overridden Am Yisrael, we would not be here as from Yidden today. Okay? We wouldn't even be here as Yidden today because outside of Torah Yiddishkeit doesn't last 4 generations. Reform, conservative, anybody else, it does not last 4 generations outside of Torah Yiddishkeit. It doesn't. We would not be here today. Had Hashem not made the ruchniistic nest, had they not found the oil, or had the oil lasted 1 day, not 7 days, what would have happened? 8 days later, we'll light the menorah, make Chanukah on Gimel Teves, big deal. Or, halachically, api halacha, there's an Indian called Tuma Hutra B'tzibur. Yeah? That if all of Am Yisrael, don't have tahar oil, okay, shine. Tamei oil, it's fine. It would have been allowed. But, the Chashmonaim, the Maccabim, fought with Mesiras Nefesh on a pure Yiddishkeit, as we're going to learn today. They insisted on Kedusha and Tahara, and Hashem put his stamp on it and said, yes, I'm going to make you that miracle which didn't have to happen. And on that ruchniistic miracle, on the miracle which didn't have to happen, on that oil which lasted, on that we celebrate Chanukah. Okay? I'd like to point out the mitzvahs of the Yom Tov and show how in the mitzvahs of the Yom Tov we actually see that it's a ruchniistic Yom Tov. So we mentioned flames. We mentioned the idea that we celebrate. I've got enough copies here. Thank you. We celebrate with by lighting the menorah by using flames. A flame is something ruchni. A mitzvah is something ruchni. How do we celebrate with? It says in the Gemara here, halal v'hoida'ah. Halal is praise. It's verbal. Singing is again of all physical things. Singing is something more ruchni. Correct? It's not so that you can't touch or Okay. Likewise, Hoida'ah, thanking Hashem, is something more ruchni. Let's compare that to Purim, for example, yeah? How do we celebrate on Purim?
Mishteh.
Mishteh v'simcha. That's the halacha. Mishteh v'simcha. What's mishteh? Eat and drink. Yeah, very physical things. We don't even say halal on Purim. There's many reasons why. We don't even say halal on Purim. Because, what happened on Purim? Haman wanted to kill us out, man, woman, and child. And it was a physical nisachim. We were able to save our lives. Therefore, we celebrate in a physical way. Okay? Chanukah was a ruchniistic nes, and therefore we celebrate baruchnius with halal and hidah. There's no mitzvah to eat donuts. There's no mitzvah to eat latkes. It's a beautiful minhag. We have to remember the oil. But if you don't have to wash on Chanukah. You don't have to have a sudas mitzvah. If you do, yes, it is l'chvod Yom Tov. That's what Allah says, but there's no obligation to do it because it's ruchni. Okay? Even the Al HaNisim, which the Al HaNisim itself is established to commemorate the Milchama, the war, Ram Miyad Ba'atim, Kibar Miyad, yeah? Even that does not even mention the licht of the Beis HaMikdash, because were you to mention the licht of the Beis HaMikdash and the oil lasting in comparison to the war, it pales in comparison. When we say in Al HaNisim, Hidliko Neres B'chatzros Kodshecha, it does not refer to the menorah. It refers to celebration lights, chatzros kodshecha, the outside. They lit candles outside to make a simcha. Like you do as a special person comes to town and it's lichtik in the streets, right? Okay, that's what it was. Interesting.
I never did that.
Yeah. Okay, so why is Chanukah established according to the Gemara to thank Hashem for the ruchniistic nes of allowing us to do a mitzvah properly? Why is that the celebration of Chanukah? The fact that we were allowed to do the mitzvah b'kedusha and tahara. And the answer to that is because the Yevonim, the enemy, were out to get us spiritually. Okay? Haman wanted to kill us. Antiochus didn't want to kill us. What did Antiochus want? Take the kedusha out of us. Live. Have your culture, have your children. What does that have to be kosher children for?
Have your donuts.
Have your Shabbos. But what do the Lamentes Malachos? Do all your things, but cut out the kedusha of it. Each enemy, by the way, from the very beginning of time, each and every enemy of the Yidden is, yes, a physical enemy, but just like Esav had a malach and Yaakov fought Esav's malach, every single nation has a Sarah in Shemayim. And every single nation that physically confronts us represents a ruchniistic challenge that we Yidden have. Okay? We entered Eretz Yisrael. There were 7 nations in Eretz Yisrael, right? Good. The Yidden after the Churban Bayis Rishon, after the first Beis Hamikdash, we went into Galus for 70 years. Why 70 years? Because we didn't send out those 7 nations. We were influenced by them. The 7 nations influenced our 7 midos that we have, which we count in Severas Oimeh. And our 7 midos were corrupted. We went into Galus for 70 years to fix up those 7 midos. Everything has its, ruchniistic thing. Every nation. You can go through the Yiddish account, you can go through Yiddish history, and you can learn about the ruchnius of each nation and what they were out to get. It's incredible. So when it comes to Chanukah, what were the Yavanim out to get? The Kedusha and the Tahara of Am Yisrael. Live, have your culture, enjoy it. But exchange emunah for logic. That's what they wanted. Okay? And we see this in the words, Lahashkichim Torah Secha. We're on the second, the goal of the Yavanim, that's what up to, yeah? Second up point. Lashkichim Torah Secha. They were here to make us forget your Torah Secha. You know, contemporary to Antiochus, or just prior to Antiochus, was Talmai HaMelech, Ptolemy, yeah? What did he do, Talmai HaMelech? He translated the Torah into Greek, yeah? Targum Shivim, okay? He translated the Torah. And that was a happy day for the Yidden? No, a terrible day. It was considered a big churban that Talmai HaMelech translated the Torah. Why is it such a big churban? What's wrong with translating Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu told us the Torah in 70 languages. We have English Chumash. What's wrong with translating the Torah? Why is it a distraction?
Because what their agenda was. Their agenda was to take the spirituality of the Torah and to make it into an interesting book to read.
Exactly. Talmai HaMelech wanted that the Torah should be on his shelf with all his other books, a wisdom, and the Jewish wisdom. God-given? Nah. Just another wisdom. That's what he wanted. And that's why it's a churban. So Torah, enjoy your Torah. But what's this Torah secha business? What's this thing that belongs to Hashem that's godly, your Torah? Lahavirein mechukei ritzaynecha. Likewise, you want to have culture? The Greeks conquered many countries and allowed each country to keep their culture. But this thing, you say it's a mitzvah secha, ritzaynecha, that it connects you to the Eibishter, that the Eibishter's rotzen, that you're doing a mitzvah because it connects you to Hashem, that they couldn't handle. The idea of Kedusha and Tara they couldn't handle. And that's where they outlawed what? The mitzvahs which didn't make sense. Rosh Chodesh, what? Your based in, Yidden, is so intelligent that they're mechashev the itim. Your based in knows astrology. Your based in is so intelligent, they know exactly when the Moilad's going to be. They know astrology. What do you need 2 witnesses coming for? That's so illogical. Well, that's the mitzvah. What mitzvah? Why? They couldn't stand that we preferred emunah to logic. Okay? Shabbos. Because the Lamates Malachas really make sense. I've got better ways to rest on Shabbos. Yeah? Drive over to your friend's house, switch on the TV, that's called resting. Lamates Malachas, it's resting. Sometimes it's harder to do things, the Shabbos stick away. You're like, it's not called resting. Okay? Bris Milah. An 8-day-old baby has any seichel? He can make a covenant with God? Give me a break. 13, 20. When you're about das, then you can make a covenant with God. You want an 8-day-old baby to make a covenant with God? That's illogical. That's faith. That's emunah. They couldn't stand the emunah. Okay? The idea of taking out the Kedusha and Tara is kind of like, unfortunately, what a lot of Yiddishkeit has become today. People who prefer Yiddish culture to real Yiddishkeit. I'll tell you, in Australia, we had a shop down Carlisle Street. Carlisle Street's like Dunsmuir Road or one of the main roads here, yeah? And all the Yiddish shops, there's a shop there, it sells kugel and kishke and matzo ball soup and fish and alle gute Sachen, and it's not kosher.
Wow.
Oh. Why? We're Yidden. We love Yiddishkeit. We love the kishke and the kugel. What do I do kosher for? It's outdated. Okay? Where does that come from, Yiddishisten? You know history? The end of the 1800s, all the isms coming out, Zionism and Marxism and socialism, Yiddishisten is the same time. Yiddish culture, Shalom Aleichem, and fiddling on the roof, and all the beautiful Yiddish culture without Torah and mitzvahs. It's not Yiddishkeit. Secular Zionism is the same thing. We are a Jewish people with a Jewish land. Torah and mitzvahs, nothing to do with it. What unfortunately, we struggle with the same thing today. Now, it's very, I'll tell you, Zadie Gordon, I wrote the story, I have to say it, right? My Zadie was a chaplain in New Jersey, in the hospital. And he used his chaplaincy, obviously, to do his shlichus, I mean, what else would he do? And he used the opportunity to, give people tefillin and kosher and whatnot. And he was speaking to one old man, and this old man was convinced that the future of Yiddishkeit was to speak Yiddish. He was a big Yiddishist. And if only we'd all speak Yiddish, and Yiddishkeit would be blossoming in America, and you all speak Amerikanisch, and it's a big problem. Yeah, he was really pushing it. And my lady was trying to a mitzvah for something. No mitzvahs, we don't need mitzvahs. Yiddishkeit doesn't need mitzvahs. Yiddishkeit needs Yiddish. So my lady said to him, a bit of a sharp one, but he said to him, tell me, Rabbi, how many Einachach do you have that speak Yiddish? And the man said, unfortunately, none. Now, I don't know how many children he had. I don't know if his children had children. I don't know if they spoke Yiddish. I don't know. They didn't keep anything, right? My lady said to him, look, I have tens and tens of Einachach who speak Yiddish. And that's because of the Shem and Torah mitzvahs. You cannot have culture without the Kedusha. The Yevonim wanted to create that. Now, I'll just extend it one more notch. And it's very nice to talk about Yiddishisten and shops in Australia. Us, yeah? In our lives, we also have the Kedusha aspect of it, the Emunah aspect of it, what's going on in our heart and our mind, and then the culture of you living in a frum community, okay? A frum community makes us dress a certain way, behave a certain way. It's a very good thing. But we have to stop and think, if I didn't live with all this positive social pressure, what would be going on inside of me? Do I have the Torah Secha, the Chukei Ritzonecha? Am I connected? Am I doing this for Hashem? And if we're not, that's okay. We can do it step by step. We can slowly get there. But it's something to think about when Chanukah comes. How much of my Yiddishkeit, if the Yevonim would have marched into Stamford Hill, would I really need the Kedusha and the Tara? Or am I okay with the cultural aspects? Yeah? It's an interesting question. Okay. How do we see this in what the Yevonim actually did? So when they walked into the Heichal, into the Beis HaMikdash, the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. Titus, Rome, destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. The Yevonim had no problem with the beautiful architecture and the stunning gold of the Beis HaMikdash. It's gorgeous. They loved architecture. They loved a Heichal. What did they do? They put a pesel, a Avodah Zarah in the Heichal. You want only kosher animals in your Mizbeach? We'll put a chazan on the Mizbeach. You have this Shem and Tahar to light the menorah? Enjoy your menorah. The menorah is gorgeous. What a stunning candelabra. But we want to tama your oil. Did they spill the oil? They didn't spill the oil. They just touched it. You know what it's like? Imagine if Hackney Council said, health and safety regulations, we're walking into the wine cellar, we're opening all the corks, testing it, and putting the corks back. You have a problem? You can't sell your wine now? Why ever not? Yeah? Why ever not? Why can't you sell your wine? Does your wine taste different? Does your wine look different? It's still the same quality wine. All we did was tested it for health and safety. Just go imagine that, yeah? That's what the Yevonim wanted to do with the oil. Light your menorah. Just let us touch it. What, it's different oil? It's not different oil. What's different? The Kedusha and the Tara. A goy will never understand the Kedusha and Tara. They are not able to understand it. Do you know there's halachas about having goytis in your house? Yeah? You're all Baruch Hashem, blessed with wonderful cleaning ladies, I hope. Yeah? And in your house, there's a real halachas about not leaving them unattended in the kitchen. You know? We had a goytis in someone's house that I was there, and I see she wasn't changing the sponge and the glass between the and the plates, and I said to her, like, Allah, what's going on? And she goes, I won't say, you know, say. Like, excuse me, like, I won't say if you won't say. Then I took her to my house, and we don't really do milchiks because we're all kind of milk intolerant. So I had like a fleishik side, and I only had like one milchik knife in the cupboard up high, and like, so I tell the goiters, it's all fleishik, don't worry. And she starts on a rant about how all the Yidden are crazy with the milchiks and fleishiks, and I'm the only normal one. I said to her, no. Like, they're so respectful in your house when you're watching them, but they don't get it inside.
Yeah, of course not.
Okay? A goy will never get the Kiddush Nara. And that's what the Yevonim couldn't handle and couldn't stand with Kiddush and Tahara. Now, Yirmiyahu Hanavi, in his beautiful words, says, the Yidden are Heichel Hashem Himo. Every single Yid is a Beis HaMikdash, or more familiar to you would be V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti v'soicham. Hashem says, make for me a mikdash, and I'll dwell amongst you, meaning amongst the Yidden. That each of us, the Yidden, are a Beis HaMikdash inside. We each have a neshama, and our neshama is a heichel. Our neshama is heilig. And we all have shemen in our heichel. We all have oil, pure oil, which is the pintel Yid of our neshama, the emunah. Okay? And somehow, there are forces in the world which try to metame, try to defile our pure neshama. Okay? But, however defiled we might become, what if that can even happen to a Yid, right? However contaminated a Yid may become, there is one cruse of oil which will never be touched. And that is the deepest part of our neshama. The part where Yidden who are not even showing anything, keeping anything, will one day you say, are you a Yid? Of course I'm a Yid. I was born a Yid, I'm going to die and I'm a Yid. Yeah? Sandy Koufax and all these amazing stories about the baseball player that wouldn't play in Yom Kippur. Did he keep anything? No, but he's not playing in Yom Kippur. Why? Because for him, you know the story I'm talking about? Because for him, Yom Kippur is like, this is his Yiddishkeit. Or the spy was in Lebanon or something, and he didn't keep anything, and the Lebanese or whoever they were, Iraqis, I don't know why it was, were going to kill him, and he said, I was born a Jew and I'm going to die a Jew, and yeah, why? He didn't keep anything. Why do you have to say he's a Yid? Because every single Yid has that pintele Yid, has that nitzutz, deep, the essence of their soul, the Chiddush Nefesh. And that's the one cruse of oil which can never be contaminated by a Yid. Okay? Now, the Chashmonaim, the Maccabim, they fought for Yiddishkeit from that very deep place of the Neshama. The Maccabim, they fought for Yiddishkeit from that place of Mesiras Nefesh. It didn't make any sense when they're in the town of Modi'in, as the history goes, right? And the Yevonim in that town were trying to get the Yidden to bow down to the Pesel, and one old Jew voluntarily steps forward to bow down to the Pesel, comes out Matisyahu and slays him and stops the whole situation and gets rid of all the Yevonim there and makes a whole show and then says, okay, thank you. Okay, so it goes. Does that make any sense? No. If that happened in the Stamford Hill streets today, somebody would go up to the Achles Ofsted and make a whole, be like, hello, you're crazy, you're giving a band name for Yiddishkeit, what are you doing, right? It's crazy. It's mad what Hashmonaim did. But they fought with Mesiras Nefesh. They fought from that pintele inside of them, that deepest place which said, we will not be defiled, we will not allow you to trample our Yiddishkeit. And therefore Hashem rewarded them with the oil in the Beis HaMikdash. They used their inner shemen, pure oil, and Hashem rewarded them with the shemen, with the pure shemen. Okay, going back to hints in the name Yavan, just a curious, interesting thing to see. We see the name Yavan and actually shows us on their clan. In fact, most times in Torah, the name shows on the etzem. And you can see the different enemies of the Yidden and how the word Mitzrayim comes to the word Meitzar, limitations, right? They're trying to constrain us, and that's why it's all about freedom, chayros, right? It's always these, you see it in the name. The name Yavan, okay, in Tehillim is called, David HaMelech says, Hashem saved him mitita Yavan, from the quicksand. Yavan is quicksand. What's quicksand? It's a muddy, swampy thing. You walk into it, and one step, and you're sunk down. Right? Very, very dangerous to step into quicksand. What's Yavan? Yavan is like this. Yeah? Yud, Vav, a Langanun. Yeah? Exactly. A Yud. A little innocent Yud. Just come and taste a bit of our culture. Just come to the show with me. Just just look at this status, just read this article, just come to the course, it's all innocent. A little bit of seichel, yeah? And then vav, and then yud in Torah,
Definition of Yavon is quicksand?
in Tehillim, the word Yavon is used to refer to quicksand, Tita Yavon, Parakmen, possible. So in each of the aleph bays have meaning. Alpi Kabbalah, very beautiful meaning. There are svarim written on it if you're curious. And a kel lev kulei lev. Each of the aleph bays has very beautiful meaning to it. And aleph is a yid, is a line of a yud above a pintala above Hashem, a yud below is a pintala below is a yid neshama, the kav in the middle that connects the yid to Hashem. Every single one of the aleph is very beautiful. So the yud represents chachma, wisdom. Everything starts with a bit of wisdom. Each one of the aleph bays starts with a yud. Think about it. Right bays, right gimel has that little yud at the top. And I'm talking about the Sefer Torah script. Has a little yud at the top, and then it continues into the bays. A little yud continues into the gimel. Everything starts with a yud. Yud is chachma, wisdom. Yavon says, come learn. Come to my course. Read my article. Taste. There's nothing wrong with tasting a bit of wisdom. If you don't like it, leave it. Yeah, right, yeah. Once you contaminate a person's wisdom, once you give a person secular ideas, give them a bit of training, a bit of, career advancement, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, yeah? Talmudic ideas. Suddenly it affects Vav. Vav is emotions. Vav is the way you feel. From the mind, from the Yud, that line joins down into your emotions. Vav is also emotions because there are 6 main emotions: Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netach, Chod, and Yesod. Malchus is not one of them because Malchus collects them down. So Vav represents emotions. Let me just tell you an idea. Now let that affect the way you're going to feel about life. And before you know it, the line going on right down into the schmutz. That's quicksand, right? Quicksand. One innocent step inside. And before you know it, it's very, very dangerous. It's almost impossible to escape quicksand. It's almost impossible to escape a little bit of Talmudic wisdom that a person hands you. Which is why we're so careful with chinuch. Which is why, I'm sure you've heard stories, Hasidim of Amal and different high madrigas and avoida and blah, 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 right? Which today in our generation is like, oh my, these madrigas and avoida. Have you heard some stories? Yeah? Okay. And there's a lot of talk about skafia, self-control, and not to have the extra this and pas melech teuchel lifestyle, of denying ourselves things. Okay, there was such an avodah in Yiddishkeit once upon a time. Today, the skafia, the self-control we need to have today, is not eating the chocolate bar, not eating the chocolate bar. If you want to have a diet, fine. But in terms of the Eibishter, Hashem doesn't really mind about the chocolate bar. The skafia, the self-control today is cooking, leinen, heron, and raiden. Okay? What you see, what you hear, what you read, and what you see. Yeah, okay. There you go. And it's so true. Because what pulls us? Just an advert. And just something flashing. And just a book that I really wanted to read, which, isn't such a kosher or whatever, and no one really told me it's okay. And yeah, these things pull us. And once we allow them in, seeing things, hearing things, reading things, once we allow these things in, they do a lot more damage than any other indulgence that we might indulge in. Okay? And that's Yavon. It just wants to give us a little bit of secular culture. Quicksand is a mixture of water and chumrias and earthliness. Yavon is pure wisdom. Torah nimshel l'mayim. The purity of wisdom of Torah learning is fantastic. But mix earthliness into your Torah learning. Make that Torah learning not so holy anymore. Take ideas and dirty with the ways of the world. I'm sure you've seen it where people have their narishkaited and they start proving it to you with psukim. It's like, that's not what the Torah meant, go away. You've seen that, right? People have their narishkaited and they take a course in Ichvesos and they want to make it Yiddish. So they come to the Heimish community and they teach their shtusim and they have psukim to kind of fit. Hello, that's not Torah, that's Yavon. You're taking pure, beautiful water and you're mixing it with chumris, with earthliness. What have you done?
Can you learn chachma from a guy?
There is Chachma by Goyim, Torah by Goyim al Tamin. Don't believe that they have any path in life, Torah Hira'ah lessons. But Chachma by Tamin, yes, Goyim do have Chachma. And yes, there are times when a person is allowed to learn Goyish Chachma with an awareness that it's a Goyish Chachma. However, I would say like this, there are halachic guidelines as to when we would learn it. Number one, we don't expose children to Goyish Chachma for no reason. If we mamish have to, because it's government policy, whatever, so we do the minimum we're required to do. We don't put extra effort into secular studies, number one. Number two is that we don't stand learn Chachma for the fun of it. We learn Goyish Chachma if there's a purpose. If you want to take a certain job, a certain profession, a certain skill, even for your own personal life, you want healing, whatever it is, there is Chachma, this beautiful Chachma by the Goyim. But you have to have your Yiddishkeit pure and intact. This is your life. Your life is pure and intact. Your life is from the Torah. Torah is Torah. Then you want to learn a certain healing, a certain refuah, nafshistic of refuah, emotional refuah. You want to, okay, so know that this is a Goyish Chachma. Learn it, leave it there.
No, that's your one. If you go into Goyish psychology, no.
It's very different when you bring it into your life or don't bring it into your life. For example, the number one rule, by the way, is to do it with guidance. If you have guidance, if you have a Rav, a mentor, somebody who you consult with, you're not doing it alone, it's a lot safer. But the other thing is that, say in Chinuch, in Chinuch, you're a teacher, you have students, whatever it is, you have children. Where does your Chinuch nefes come from? From Torah. Someone asked my mother once how she manages. She has a very large family, beautiful family. How do you manage with the Chinuch? What did she say? No tricks and no books. Tillim and Sharon. That's it, That's where it starts and ends.
What?
Tillim and tears.
Oh.
Okay? We have our chinuch of the way the Torah gave us. We daven for our children. We put it in Hashem's hands. We give them as much Torah and love and Yerushalayim as we can. When we can sometimes take a Goyish book that somebody who we respect has approved of and told us it's okay to read, go to a course which is, again, with guidance, and take ideas from there. But don't believe that that's your solution in life. Don't believe that that's going to give you guidance. Don't believe that that's going to be your solution. It will give you guidance. Yes, we do live in a world, and just like we deal with the pots and the pans, there are chachmas as well. But we have to be so careful with them. Okay? But it's also the attitude. When people are running left, right, and center to find eights and eights, my child's struggling, I have to go. One second. What about the basics? What about the giving your child the love and the amunah? And yes, you can search for the answers. Yes, you can. But what about the basics? Yeah? We place our faith, our Yeshua. Yeah? May I and Yahweh Ezri. Ezri me Hashem. Yeah? Yes, we do have to do our part, but it's only Hishtadlus. It's like with Parnasa, yeah? A person thinks that we only Parnasa, we all have to live, we have to bring up beautiful families, and the children should have, and it should be and it should be wonderful, right? The person thinks, I'm going to go to work, and the work is going to bring my Parnasa. Wrong. The Eibishter is going to bring the Parnasa, and the Eibishter wants me to work. As soon as we start thinking the work brings the Parnasa, we got it all wrong. The Eibishter wants me to work. And what's the difference? What's the nafkamina? Where we see the difference in there is that if we believe the work brings us Parnasa, then we'll work till the latest man on Friday. And we'll work even when it's not good for the children. And we'll make eights and we won't do things so honestly, right? When we believe it's the Eibishter that gives the Parnasa, then we'll work. However much the Torah requires us to work. The Torah doesn't want us to work till the last minute Erev Shabbos. The Torah doesn't want us to worry about our work after Shabbos. The Torah doesn't want us to work in a way that's going to affect the children negatively and be home in 6 p.m., 8 p.m., right? I'm only going to do however much Hashem expects of me. You get the difference? You still deal with the Gashmias, just where's the attitude? Is this Goyish Chachma going to solve my issues? If I have an issue, am I running there? Or is it that I know Hashem is, and Hashem created a world, and Hashem created a world with Chinese medicine, and with herbal medicine, and with psychology, and psychiatry, and all these wonderful things, and I'm going to take from Hashem's beautiful world that He created. You get the difference? It's a very fine line. And we definitely need the mentor and guidance. And
the world is a Geshe Tzalmahot.
Okay. Good. So what is the antidote? How do we fight Yavan? So they were against the Emunah and the Tahar, the Kedusha and the Tahar, the Emunah. We stick strong, ever so strong, onto the Kedusha, the Tahara, and the Emunah. When our logic talks to us Yavani language and tries to tempt us into logical conclusions, you see, stop a second. Emunah, what does the Eibishter want of me? What's the Torah tell me to do here? Yeah? Who here checks their eggs? Do you check your eggs?
Yes.
Of course. Well, lovely room with your Shemaim ladies. If I were to yav on you and tell you that really today, white eggs are really not an issue. I mean, they're candled before they come to you. And besides, the blood spots in white eggs, they're not fertilized eggs. There's no way it could be a real blood spot. And besides, if you mixed it into your cake and you call the Rav and you say, I didn't check my eggs, he's going to tell you it's okay because bottle of shishim, it's totally not an issue. I mean, come on, why are you checking your eggs today? And the bakeries, you think they check their eggs? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, you all check your eggs. Why? Emunah. Because we do what a Yid does. The logic can tease you. Okay? Have you ever had the experience where you went to halacha shir, you learned halacha in high school or whatever it was, and you learned the halacha, and you learned the reason for the halacha, and you said to yourself, well, that reason no longer applies, so I guess I don't have to keep that halacha. Have you ever heard of that? You know what I'm talking about? It's people kind of feel like, you know,
like the shortcut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the harchakas, but I don't have to keep that harchaka because that harchaka doesn't apply to me. You know what I'm talking about? People are like, yeah. Okay? It's a certain yavam in our brains talking to us. The solution to the Chanukah challenge is to stick to our guns. Stay really, really strong on the emunah. It doesn't matter what logic tells us. What matters is what the Torah tells us. When we stick strong in our emunah, we're fighting like the Maccabim were, like the Hashmonaim were. Was there any logic in their battle? It was a suicide mission, really. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't support.
Nothing. Against the biggest army in the world. It didn't make any sense. But they felt that we cannot allow Yiddishkeit to be trampled. And we're willing to go on with serious nefesh to literally sacrifice our lives to make a statement for Yiddishkeit. And Hashem rewarded that. We only have to take that first step. We only have to show that I'm sticking to it. Have you ever had that experience where you had a really strong between right and wrong inside of you? And doing the thing that was right would be really awkward, socially uncomfortable, have repercussions. Doing the right thing would be so difficult. And doing the wrong thing would just be so much more comfortable. And you stuck to it and you did the right thing and suddenly it wasn't as bad as you thought. Did you ever have that experience? Yeah? The Yetzer Hara to do the wrong thing sometimes is so strong inside of us. And as soon as we defy the Yetzer Hara, as soon as we stick to our Emunah Tahira and do what's right, suddenly it melts away. The Nisoyin challenge, Nisoyin means a challenge, a test, and Nisoyin also means a nes, a banner. Hashem is testing us just to show our strength. And if we stick to it, it didn't make any sense that they fought, but they stuck to it. And they had that Mesiras Nefesh, and Hashem opened the roads for them in incredible ways. Why did they even bother searching for pure oil? What a waste of time. You think you're going to find anything? There's a Lishkas Hashemanim, there's a room of oil in Beis Mikdash. That room of oil has nothing there. You're going to munach bakarka, some oil underground? Come on. Yet they searched. Why? Why did they even bother lighting the menorah? You see there's only one cruise of oil. It's a waste of time. You light the menorah today, there'll be nothing left for tomorrow. No, we're going to do it. You only have to do what's right for now. Don't worry about tomorrow. You have to do what's right. And it's very hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to stick to it. When the world laughs on by and the world tells you you're nuts and all your from Heimish and Hasidish wonderful friends roll their eyes at you. And it's so hard to stick to it. And somehow when you do it, it's not as bad as you thought. And Hashem rewards you by showing the pischoli, yeah? Yeah. Okay, how do we see this on the advert I promised you that we'll learn about the Minhagim and Halachas of Chanukah? Okay, so how do we see this in the Halachas of Chanukah? Number one is that we light candle, we light licht, yeah, flames. Our neshama is like a flame, okay? A flame, yes, it is ruchni, because ruchni is the yamtiv. Our neshama is like a flame. Ner Hashem Nishmas Adam, right? Our neshama is like a flame. A flame flickers. Why does a flame flicker? Ever wonder why a flame flickers? There are two things you can watch forever.
It's a constant battle.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
There is one aspect of it that it's a constant battle of burning the chumrias, burning the oil, or the wax or whatever. There is that aspect of it. And there's also the aspect that the flame wants to go lamaila. The flame wants to detach from the wick and go upward. Okay? The Rambam writes that under the moon is the source of fire. I do not know what that means, the source of fire under the moon, but that's what he writes. And the reason why a flame flickers upward is because it wants to reconnect with its source, lamaila. If you turn on your big gas burner, where you have the Lag Ba'omer Madura, I mean it's a bit too big, but your gas burner, yeah? Turn on the large gas burner, and you take your match or your candle, and you bring your small flame close to the big flame but not touching. You will see that small flame jump into the big flame because it doesn't want to exist. It wants to reconnect. Our neshama is the same thing. And neshama has no interest in being here. It has to be here because it has to be here. It wants to reconnect. Okay? Our neshama wants to connect to Hashem. Our neshama wants to be included in Hashem's light. We light Chanukah licht, and these licht represent our neshama that wants to connect to Hashem. That doesn't want all that Yavanish stuff drowning it. That doesn't want to be stuck here in all the confusion. We light those licht and we remember our deepest, most desire to connect to Hashem, the purity. Okay? The mitzvahs with the licht. We use oil, or we eat oil, we use oil. What's oil? Okay? Oil is, again, that same idea, where oil, the famous experiment, you mix oil with water, and what do you find? The oil floats to the top. It doesn't mix. We have a pure part of our neshama, which cannot be contaminated. It is pure and pure and pure. You cannot contaminate the essence of the neshama. We have that aspect to us, okay? At the same time, take oil and spill it on your dress, and achanvei, right? Take oil and spill it on your tablecloth, and achanvei. Take oil and spill it on your couch. Whatever it is, oil permeates, stains everything. Our essence neshama is untouchable, uncontaminatable. At the same time, our essence neshama, if we only allow it to, can stain, affect, permeate every single aspect of our lives. That's oil. Okay? We celebrate with oil. Why is Chanukah 8 days? Why do we light 8 branches on the menorah? We are lighting a menorah to represent, to remind us of the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash that the miracle happened with. Whoa, 1 second. The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash had 7 branches. We light 8. The shamash is not included, right? You do not need a shamash other than the fact ein lanu just the shamash for him. You can have 7 boys in your family, 7 menorahs, 1 shamash for all the menorahs is fine, okay? The girls in high school could not figure that out. Okay, so yes, 7 branches in the Beis HaMikdash, 8 branches today. Why? Why are we changing things, 7. Because 7 represents nature. 7 days of the week. 7 spheres with which Hashem created the world in that pattern. 7 colors on that rainbow. 7 is the harp of David HaMelech. The harp of Mashiach has 8. The girls in 7 told me that there'll be an 8th note when Mashiach comes. And there's a source for that, but apparently there'll be an 8th note when Mashiach comes. Shir Lana Shir Chadash, right? Beautiful. Stunning. Okay? 8 represents above nature. Okay? There's in a cube, you have 6 sides and the center point, 7. Where's the 8th dimension? Doesn't fit in nature. Okay? 8 is l'mayla min hateva. The Beis HaMikdash, you light a menorah to light up the world. To light up all 7 aspects of the world. To light up all 7 days of the week, to light up all 7 spheres. But 8? No, today we light 8. Because in the Golus, when you want to be that Chanukah Yid, when you want to be that Chashmonai, when you want to stick it strong to your essence, oil, neshama inside of you, you need 8. You need to go beyond nature. We're in this dark, deep Golus, we're preparing for Mashiach. We need 8. Okay?
That's why the 8th day is called Zayis Chanukah?
Yes.
The actual day of Chanukah?
Yes, the 8th day is the culmination of the whole Chanukah, and Chanukah is not complete until the 8th.
The 8th day is that extra.
Exactly. We finally achieved the beyond nature, which is why it's called Zois Chanukah. This is Chanukah. And there's many other reasons. The Wednesday show we're going to talk about Zois Chanukah. Why it's okay, so we have another. We have different shiurim during the week. So, okay. Now, yes, it's 8 licht, but we also have other differences to the Beis HaMikdash. Where do we light a menorah? We light it in the Beis HaMikdash. They did it after Plag HaMincha. Plag HaMincha, they brought the Ketores, and after the Ketores was the lighting of the menorah in the Beis HaMikdash. It was lit during the day. Plag HaMincha time is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on the day, right? Okay. When do we light menorah?
Shkia time.
Yeah, I mean, in England that can be 3 o'clock also. But by night, after Shkia, okay? Mishatish kahachamo, as the Lashon says, when the sun has gone down, in the darkness, not in the light. In the Beis HaMikdash, they lit the menorah to the right-hand side. We have a doorway, the mezuzahs on the right, and the Chanukah lights on the left. Again, lighting it in the darkness, in the tumah, in the negativity of Golus. The menorah in the Beis HaMikdash was lit inside the Kodesh, inside the Heichal. Where do we light the menorah? Pesach, Beis B'chutz, it says, which means either in your window, the entrance to the outside, your doorway, or in your Shalayim and in Sfas. Have you seen? Yeah. Stunning. They light the menorah in these glass boxes. You seen it?
Yes.
Stunning. You go in Sfas streets, Yerushalayim streets, Chanukah night, and all these menorahs are mamish outside. Pesach Beis B'chutz. Wow. Yes, because the Chanukah licht, that Mesiras Nefesh, sticking strong through the darkness of Golus, you can do it even at night, even on Dafka at night, Dafka on the left-hand side, Dafka towards the outside. And that, Chanukah licht, our strong Mesiras Nefesh, the pintali that we have, that we're going to stick it strong, and we're not going to be Yevonishized, whatever you want to call it, that's going to lead us to Mashiach. That's going to hold us strong. So in conclusion, Chanukah is a celebration of the ruchniistic strength of a Yid. Chanukah is thanking the Eibishter for putting his stamp of approval on our Mesiras Nefesh struggle, on our insistence on lighting the pure oil, even though we could have lit in the regular oil, or we didn't have to look for the oil. And we insisted, the Chashmonaim insisted, and Hashem approved and made the nes. The Chashmonaim didn't have to fight the war, they insisted on fighting the war, and Hashem made the miracles for them. We hold strong to what we know is right. We hold strong to Kihem Chayenu v'Yorech Yameinu, to the Torah, to the mitzvahs. We don't want to be caught the last seconds of Golus. Mashiach's arriving, you hear the shofar, and I'm in the middle of learning some chveisvos, yeah? Or dealing with some shtus. What do you want to be caught doing in those last minutes of Golus? And we're getting there, yeah? I mean that's what all the Gedolim tell us. So you're getting there, right? It's the last minutes of Golus. And this, the Chanukah licht, holding strong to our Emunah Tahira, not compromising an iota into logic, staying strong to the Emunah when it doesn't make sense, that is going to keep us strong till the Golah.